already have some stain just poured in here, watered down, and I'm going to stain the top. This doesn't have binding on it, so I'm gonna have to stay away from the edge. So if you see it that I'm like missing portions, it's on purpose. But I'm gonna stain it about 2 or 3 times. We'll let that dry for a couple hours, and then we'll sand it back. And the reason why we're gonna sand it back is because the stain is gonna stay in certain portions of the grain deeper than other areas. So when we sand it back, it'll actually kind of give this depth to it. And then we'll finally paint it blue. This is gonna be a trans blue, so hence the blue stain. Here we go. So I'm gonna start with the edges first. It's not going to look like a whole lot at first, but as I add layers, it'll start to change color. Again, I'm staying away from the edge because what'll happen is if I get stain at the edge, it'll actually soak through into the side of the guitar, which I don't want because we want that binding. When we scrape it back after we paint it, we want it to look just like natural wood. We don't want it to look blue. So I'm staying away from the edge. Just want to stain the center. One coat. Starting to get a little bit of color to it. Just being extra careful. I want to get close, but not too close. I'm probably going to just do one more. Then we'll let it dry and then we'll sand it back. Let that dry for a couple hours and then we'll sand it back. As you can see, it's a lot more blue looking now that it's dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it back a little bit to just get a nice grain pattern. Some areas the grain or the stain's going to stay in the grain, and in some areas it's going to sand out. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about as soon as I start. Sand most of it off. You might think I'm being crazy, like, oh, you just put all that pretty stain on, now you're sanding it off, but we're gonna shoot transparent blue over it. So we just basically, as you can see here on this right side compared to this left side, you can see how the stain is staying deep in some parts of the grain. And we'll get like a nice like shimmering shift kind of look once we shoot transparent blue over it. It's gonna look awesome. At this point, you have to be a little artistic and just kind of go what I think looks best. I don't want to sand it too much. It's looking pretty good though, nice and even. You can see how much all that shimmer in there now. Yeah, I like that shit. It looks great. This is going to be an awesome spot. I mainly really like this grain line that's going on here. It's so curvy. I like these bubbles. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool.